Yes, I would like.
One thing I was assuring you, Baba, you're doing the right thing.
Thank you
You're
so
confident for it. We are behind you.
You are saying don't talk. Abducting you, say don't talk. Ladies and gentlemen,
We're speaking a date where they want to kill us.
when we are inside the courtroom. We are inside the courtroom in Abuja. We were granted bail and we returned to court as requested by the judge to continue our trial. And after we presented ourselves, we that they are filing new charges and planning to arrest me again. Of course, we didn't panic. We concluded the process, and when we were leaving, one of the DSS officers came to me and said, we have to come with them. And I said, we're still in court, and we've been granted bail. It's not even 24 hours yet. Why can't you wait? And of course, all hell was let loose. They pulled out their guns within the court, put me in a chokehold, and tried to kill me inside the court. If it was not for these Nigerians who are surrounding me today, I'll probably be dead.
How did they tell you what they are arresting?
Nothing. We are not aware of it. I left them yesterday. I've been there for 126 days. They didn't tell me there were even new charges. People that if we do this to Sowore, nobody else will ever challenge government. I'm not new to this. I was a student leader in the 90s. I fought against military. I fought against successive both military and civilian leaders in this country who have tried to trample on the rights and violate the integrity and the dignity of our people. And even their own constitution, the constitution they drafted and swore to uphold. And I have never been afraid. When I left the country was after the by well-armed security agents. We heard they're bringing in the army. They have invited the police, and they have invited their own people. They are the secret police known as the state security DSS. That is the alias name. It is unknown to law. But it's this part of the lawlessness that we have tolerated over time that led us to the abyss that we are in today. Somebody has to do it, and I have volunteered to do it. And so many of you have joined me, and I'm inspired by all of you. The heroes of today's temporary leave that I have to speak with you are the men surrounding me, some of them lawyers, who stood up, took off their gowns, their wigs, and said no to tyranny inside the secret confines of the Federal High Court. So that is the latest for now. I'm sure pressmen are also holed up in here with us. Yes. Some of them have been molested, beaten up, and rough-handled. And they will keep reporting to you whatever happens. But just rest assured that I remain unshaken, unbroken, and unbowed. Thank you.
Thank you very much. God bless you too.
He's well. He's well already.
They want to arrest somebody that was granted bail yesterday night. They want to arrest him right before the judge. That is the kind of country we have gotten into. Of course, you can see this.
Don't go far. Your camera is
Hi from Sahara TV. We're currently at the Federal High Court in Abuja, where men of the Department of State Services, the DSS, is currently laying siege to courtroom 7, that is the courtroom of Justice Ijeoma Ojukwu. They stormed the court shortly after the end of proceedings in an attempt to rearrest rights activist Omoyele Sowore. He, however, resisted arrest as attempts were made to strangle him. The DSS cocked his guns and attempted to shoot, but Sowore was barricaded by men of the Nigerian police. He was barricaded by lawyers and also journalists who threw themselves on him and said that they were not going to allow him be rearrested. As we're speaking, Sowore is currently in court with lawyers. This is a hostage situation. There are lawyers inside. There are journalists who can't leave. There are men of the Nigerian police who are protecting these people. And just outside, I'll just show you the door in a minute. Just at that door, men of the DSS are standing outside and waiting to rearrest. Omoyele Sowore. So this is a hostage situation. This is a standoff. We're hearing that there's been a call for reinforcement by men of the Nigerian army, and but the police is standing on guard and protecting every citizen. You can see also men of the Nigerian civil defense protecting Sowore, protecting journalists and lawyers who are also trapped at the moment at the Federal High Court, courtroom 7 in Abuja, Nigeria. Live pictures from the Federal High Court, courtroom 7, the courtroom of Justice Ijeoma Ojukwu, who granted Sowore bail. We're seeing this is a hostage situation. The DSS are outside. There was an attempt to rearrest Sowore. In the process, he was strangled, save for the men of the Nigerian police who threw themselves on him. Journalists also did same, and some lawyers who were about to leave court threw themselves on him, and that was how the arrest was resisted. But as it stands now, there is a standoff with the Nigerian police protecting and the Nigerian Civil Defense Corps protecting citizens inside the courtroom, while the DSS is just outside that door. Yeah, hello, sir.
Please, just keep Those guys are going to put pastors or 10,000 fathers. You don't need to be mad anymore. Right?
It's under control, don't worry. I think they are in the chambers now. Just tell them what.
So they've gone in with the
Yeah.
Who will arrest this person?
Nobody is arrested.
Nobody will arrest this system. At least, shall be.
What you're seeing is journalists, lawyers venting their frustrations at the situation here. This is a hostage situation. The DSS is outside. All men of the Nigerian Civil Defense Corps and the Nigerian police are protecting lawyers, journalists, and Omoyele Sowore inside courtroom 7 of the Federal High Court in Abuja.
Revolution. Revolution.
We have Femi Falana SAN also now joining his clients.
Are they picking him?
They are picking me and joining.
See, they don't damage custody too.
She asked who I was. I told her the medium I work for. I told her what I do. She kept pushing. I kept telling her I need to come in and do my job. Whatever happened.
You made a mistake.
What mistake?
This man, wherever they're like, come inside. You're supposed to block some business under the side. That is the way they get the class.
Okay. You were standing here. Can I talk? Can I talk?
It is the way to do it.
Can I talk?
Somebody they don't come inside. If you follow them,
I came to the door. They were shutting the door. I kept saying, I'm a journalist. I'm a journalist. One other security man was pulling me from the back. He was pulling me from the back. I kept telling them, I'm a journalist. I'm accredited. She kept pushing and pushing. I pushed my way into court.
Not the intervention of the other policemen.
Pushed my way into court.
Some of us wouldn't have come in.
And okay, when I finished taking pictures, I said, Madam, what did I do to you? She kept going again.
No, it's the hazard in this job.
She kept going. See my whole body. I didn't leave my house with bruises. All of a sudden, I have bruises all over my body. Whatever happened to her uniform, she did her uniform herself. I'm not. I've called someone from their headquarters. She too, she should call her own. Let them settle it. I don't disrespect people. Ask that other lady. She's there, whatever here. She knows me very well. I keep to myself. I respect myself.
Yes, I know her very well.
I respect myself.
Yes, I'll be reporting here. Sometimes
10 years, no joke.
What do you want?
Please, where is that? So am I speaking to you?
Yes.
She attempted to
You're witnessing live images from the Federal High Court in Abuja, where there has been an attempt to rearrest rights activist Omoyele Sowore in court. Men of the DSS are currently outside courtroom 7, the court room of Justice Ijeoma Ojukwu. This is a hostage situation, I must mention. Lawyers are trapped in the court, journalists are trapped. They are being protected by men of the Nigerian Police Force and the Nigerian Civil Defense, and also court bailiffs who are standing guard to ensure that every citizen is safe. Earlier, when there was an attempt to rearrest Sowore, he was protected by men of the Nigerian police who threw themselves on him to prevent his rearrest. Lawyers threw themselves on him. Some journalists also threw themselves on him, and a few other people who were in courts, and that was how his arrest was prevented. It's also important to note that while that squabble was going on, there was an attempt to shoot Sowore by men of the DSS, and which was captured on camera, and there was also attempts to strangle him by one of the officers of the DSS. So that was what transpired. This is a hostage situation. Journalists are trapped, lawyers are trapped in here, and Sowore is currently being encircled. I'll just show you those pictures in a minute. He's currently being encircled by lawyers, journalists, and people who came to court to witness his trial.
What they were saying outside, they were even blaming themselves. They said that they should have allowed him to go out, and as soon as he's stepping out,
They made the mistake for even sending that person that email like
As you can see, he's currently being protected by citizens, and also three men of the Nigerian police who are standing strategically surrounding him.
Yes,
Live photos from a hostage situation and the Federal High Court, Courtroom 7, the courtroom of Justice Ijoma Ojukwu. This is a hostage situation. Journalists are trapped, lawyers are trapped. A rights activist who was granted bail by the Federal High Court twice is also trapped and is currently being protected by members of the public and men of the Nigerian police.
Hello? John. Oh boy, are you watching? Then now, they don't surround the court.
the court premises.
My brother, we go sleep for here. You sleep here.
Why you so?
Okay, John, just call me and try to know.
No problem. Thank
Even yesterday, they rented out DSS. When we were leaving, I was walking down the
Live images from the Federal High Court in Abuja, where the DSS has attempted to rearrest rights activist Omoyele Sowore in court. We learned that while the rearrest was about to happen, the presiding judge had to vacate her seat over safety concerns. Justice Ijoma Ojukwu, this is her courtroom, and this is the scene of the attempted rearrest of Omoyele Sowore. Sowore is currently being circled by lawyers, journalists, people within the courts, as well as men of the Nigerian Police and Nigerian Civil Defense Corps who have vowed to protect him and ensure that he is not rearrested. At the time of the attempted rearrest, men of the Nigerian police threw themselves on Sowore to stop his rearrest. We also saw some lawyers, some journalists, and generally people in the courts threw themselves on him to prevent the DSS from rearresting him, and that's how he was able to avoid being rearrested. In the process, DSS operative tried to strangle him to death, save for the quick intervention of those who had thrown themselves on him, who ensured that they tried to wrestle. They actually wrestled, and you can find that video on SaharaTV.com. You can find it on YouTube at Sahara TV as well. Those videos and images will be there for your viewing pleasure. This is the situation. We're currently in a hostage situation. Lawyers are seated, journalists can't leave, and Sowore is also seated, guarded by men of the Nigerian police, lawyers, journalists, and court staff.
So you can give it to both. Anytime. Just give it to
She has been calling me that she come back. She's still outside.
He went out with effort. And also to inform you that the whole building is surrounded by either plainclothes DSS operatives or armed DSS operatives. Matter of fact, journalists, lawyers, and others have been advised not to go past that entrance because that is where they are laying siege and holding everyone in this courtroom hostage. Policemen currently guarding rights activists. Omoyele, Sowore, if you're just joining this broadcast, these are live images from courtroom 7, where rights activist Omoyele Sowore has been held hostage by the DSS, who are just outside the court building, the courtroom rather, waiting to rearrest him. There was an attempt earlier, but that was foiled by men of the Nigerian police, journalists and lawyers who threw themselves on top of Sowore to prevent his rearrest. Alright, we'll bring you live images much later on. This is what's happening. If there is a development, we will go live again and ensure that you're up to date with all that is happening. We're currently at courtroom 7 at the Federal High Court, where the DSS is holding rights activists Omoyele Sowore alongside lawyers and journalists hostage in an attempt to rearrest him.